Last week, our New Orleans community held its annual Yom HaShoah Memorial at the World War II Museum. There I had the extraordinary opportunity to hear the keynote speaker, Father Patrick Debois, a man whose work is as courageous as it is vital. Father Debois is a French Catholic priest, a Jesuit, historian, and human rights activist who has devoted his life to uncovering the truth of one of the most hidden chapters of the Holocaust. He is the founder of Yachad in Unum, an organization that investigates and documents the mass shootings of Jews and Roma in Eastern Europe by the Nazis and their collaborators during what is now known as the Holocaust by bullets. While much of the world's attention has focused on the concentration camps, Father Debois has dedicated himself to finding the unmarked mass graves scattered across fields, forests, and villages, sites where close to 2 million Jews were murdered, often in front of local communities. He and his team conduct interviews with eyewitnesses, gather forensic and archival evidence, and work to preserve the memory of those whose lives were erased without even a grave or a name. But more than a historian, Father Debois is a witness to human dignity and human responsibility. His work challenges us to confront uncomfortable truths, not just about history, but about human nature, about silence, complicity, and the sacred duty to remember. I want to share with you some reflections from that night. We are taught to recognize evil in caricatures, villains with twisted faces and obvious malice. But after 25 years of investigating mass graves and interviewing eyewitnesses, Father Debois reminds us, bad people don't look like bad people. When he began his interviews, he expected killers to have crazy eyes or sinister faces, but he said, you could never tell who was a killer and who was someone who had helped hide Jews. He tells of people who invited him in, offered him food, and then casually, without shame, told him how they watched or participated in the murder of Jews. Some even brought children to watch, telling them to dress up to go see the killing of the Jews. Others who were children at the time recall seeing the shootings on their way to school. And the most chilling part, they remembered their names. It wasn't anonymous. It wasn't distant. It was their neighbors. Another shocking truth, the killers never, in 25 years of interviews, asked for forgiveness. They never asked this priest for absolution. They simply recounted the events as if they were ordinary memories, just something that happened in the course of the day. This is the banality of evil. It is not foreign. It is not monstrous. It is horrifyingly human. That is why Debois doesn't focus on Hitler or Himmler in his Holocaust class at Georgetown University. He teaches about the people in the fields. Because evil doesn't begin at the top. It begins in the human heart. It begins when propaganda turns a person into a problem, when a neighbor becomes not like me, but a threat, a parasite, and undesirable. Propaganda is more powerful than a gun. It is the weapon that prepares the heart to accept the bullet. It's how Islamist extremists, whose victims Debois visited in Kibbutz Be'eri, justified terror, not as hatred, but as heroism. A belief that they are saving the world by cleansing it. And it's not new. In mass graves in Ukraine, Guatemala, Iraq, Debois finds the same ideology. They believe that murder is a form of moral service, that to kill is to heal. We are living in dangerous times. When Father Dubois was offered condolences for the death of Pope Francis, he told us, the audience, Pope Francis gave a final warning. Frail and hoarse in his last days, the Pope said to the Jewish people, be careful, anti-Semitism is rampant. Never in 2,000 years has a Pope spoken like this. We are truly living in extraordinary times. And Father Dubois, speaking as a Frenchman who knows history well, gave us a warning too. Don't dream, America. Don't fall asleep, because you will wake up in a nightmare. We must not fall asleep in our privilege, in our comfort, or in the fantasy that it can't happen here, because it is already happening. This is not about politics. This is about the soul of humanity. What can we do? First, we have to see people. Dehumanization begins when we stop looking. So let us see the humanity in others. Let us challenge caricatures from every side of the political spectrum. We have to speak truth. Where there is propaganda, let us speak facts. Where there is hate, let us speak compassion, loving kindness, words of Torah. Teach our children not just what happened, but why it matters now. We also need to live with purpose. As Dubois says to his students, you can make your life about making money, and that's okay, but that won't be enough. You need to add purpose to your life. Also, we have to send this message because it's more urgent than ever. We are living in a time when so many young people are taught to measure their worth in likes, in followers, in viral moments. It's a generation raised on social media that is often encouraged to chase fame for fame's sake, to be seen rather than to see, to influence rather than to understand. The pursuit of meaning is being replaced by the pursuit of visibility. At the same time, we're surrounded by a flood of misinformation, false narratives, shallow slogans, and a manipulative media that spread faster than truth ever could. In such a world, purpose isn't just important, it's essential. It is the anchor that keeps us grounded in what really matters. It is the antidote to apathy, to distraction, to the numbness that comes from scrolling past suffering without blinking. Living with purpose means choosing to be awake in a world that wants us asleep. It means teaching our children not just to dream big, but to live meaningfully. To ask not just what I can get, but what I am here to give. Because without purpose, even comfort becomes empty. With purpose, even the most ordinary life becomes holy. Say never again and really mean it, not just in memory, but in policy, in education, in solidarity, not only for Jews, but for all humanity. There is, Dubois reminds us, a generosity in America unlike any other. Let us not waste it in complacency. Let us be awake. Awake to the evil that wears a friendly face. Awake to the good we are capable of. Awake to our calling to see, to speak, and to act. Let us live not in a dream, but with purpose. Let us wake from the illusion that hate is gone and step boldly into the work of healing our world. For the sake of memory, for the sake of justice, and for the sake of what is still holy in humanity, let us never fall asleep again.